Hello everyone, I'm Vijay Chatani and my team along with me would like to welcome all of you for our presentation on the topic today, that is pre and post COVID macroeconomic trends. And the indicators that we'll be covering in this presentation are GDP, inflation, repo rate and unemployment rate. So let's get started with the GDP. As data that is visible on our screen, it shows GDP growth rate from 2018 till 2021. And it's clearly visible that 2020 was an exceptional year because of COVID. Indian economy got affected. Let's understand the reasons behind changes in GDP growth rate over the years. First is sharp fall in consumption. Consumption has accounted for 55 to 58% of GDP. Remember, consumption is at the core of domestic demand in India. Indian economy experienced a sharp decline in private final consumption expenditure. Now, moving towards sharp decline in overall demand. Demand is the real accelerator of economy. If demand increases, then the producer has to increase the production, which cannot be increased without hiring the more labor force. Increment in employment opportunities leads to further demand of other products in the economy. Since 2019, Indian economy is facing the problem of lower demand, which ultimately trapped the whole economy. Now, wrong procedure in the GST implementation. GST, that is goods and service tax, is a very boosting for Indian economy, but its implementation is not that smooth. Traders are facing various problems in getting the GST returns, and their huge money is trapped in the hands of government, which is affecting their businesses due to limited availability of resources. Now, last point is agricultural crisis. Indian agriculture has been a key contributor of India's growth and continues to be the one of the biggest employers. But this sector is also facing a tough time because farmers are not getting adequate price for their crops. That is why farmers are committing suicide throughout the country.
To convert COVID pandemic related challenges into opportunity, a series of measures have taken by government to improve the economic situation. Economy has started showing signs of recovery with GDP growth. Several high frequency indicators like GST collection and power consumption have demonstrated a V-shaped recovery in economy. The first scheme is PLI, that is production linked incentive. INR 1.97 crore has been announced in Union Budget 2021 to 2022 for PLI schemes for 14 sectors of manufacturing. These sectors are automobiles, electronic and telecommunication, etc. The second one is PM Gati Shakti. It was launched on 13 October 2021, a national master plan for infrastructure development. Gati Shakti is a digital platform which will bring 16 ministries, including railways and roadways, together for integrated planning and implementation of connectivity projects. The third is Startup India program. The Startup India initiative was launched by PM on 16 January 2016 to build a stronger ecosystem for startup and support entrepreneurship. DPIIT recognized that startups have reported creation of close to 2 lakh jobs in 2021, the highest in 4 years. Now moving on to the forecasting. As on date, more than 143 crore COVID doses have already been administered in India. This is not only saved the lives of people, but also set momentum for early recovery of economy. Agriculture is expected to expand. Faster inflation and likely higher interest rates are expected. With a 9.2 growth rate, India will reclaim the status of fastest growing major economy. This is assuming that the impact of new COVID variant, that is Omicron, is restricted to the months of January and February.
Inflation means a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. So in pre-COVID, the inflation rate for 2017 was 3.3%, which is a decline of 1.62% from 2016. Whereas in 2018, it got increased by 0.62% compared to 2017, and in 2019, it got declined by 0.22% compared to 2018. Whereas in 2020, it got increased by 2.9% compared to 2019.
Post-COVID inflation. A cause common to all economies is the COVID-induced disruption of supply chains, which have pushed up the cost. India's retail price inflation has rose to 5.59% from 4.91% in the previous month, but they are below the market expectations of 5.80%. Prices rose at a faster pace for food, clothing, and footwear, while inflation slowed for fuel, light, and housing. On a monthly basis, consumer prices dropped to 0.36% in December. We'll now look at the measures taken by government to control inflation. Fiscal policy. The above-the-line measures were included of government spending of about 3.5% of GDP, and it focused primarily on the social protection and healthcare. The below-the-line measures were designed to support businesses and to shore up the credit provisions to several sectors. These include food, cooking gas, and cash transfers to low-income households, wage support and employment provisions to low-wage workers, and insurance covers to workers in healthcare sector and healthcare infrastructure. The key elements of the business support packages were various financial measures for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and non-banking financial companies. Additional support to farmers will also mainly be in the form of providing concessional credit to farmers as well as credit facility to street vendors. And also the taxes and the custom duties on vaccine and oxygen-related equipment were waived off to boost their availability. Monetary policy. The RBI reduced repo rates and reverse repo rates to 4% and 3.35% respectively. RBI also provided relief to both borrowers and lenders. Along with the additional monetary easing, they also announced special refinancing facilities for rural banks, housing finance companies, and small and medium-sized enterprises. The government also announced measures targeting businesses, which included collateral-free lending program with 100% guarantee and subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs with partial guarantee and partial credit guarantee scheme for public sector banks on borrowings from non-banking financial companies, housing finance companies, and microfinance institutes.
Impact of inflation. First is balance of payment. India's current account deficit is around $17 billion for the last quarter of 2018. This is roughly 2.5% of our GDP. For years now, India's imports are mismatched with their exports, with increasing price of goods in India. Exports have seen a further decline. Industrial sector. India has seen a stagnation in the industrial growth in the last few years. The industrial growth for the month of February 2019 year on year was merely 0.1%. This is because inflation has adversely affected the industrial sector as well. Rising price means that the factor of production like labor and raw materials have also been more expensive. After an extent, the companies pass on the burden of these additional expenses to the final consumer. Inflation is the rate at which prices of goods and services rise. The person most affected by rising inflation is the final consumer of goods, and the population in the lowest income group are the most affected. They cannot even afford basic necessities such as food and housing. Investments. Inflation affects the purchasing power of the consumer and increases the cost of goods and services. Inflation discourages heavy investment in the economy by both domestic and international players. It also puts strain on the entire financial system of the country.
Repo rate. Repo rate is the rate which central bank charges to commercial banks when they lend them the money. The current repo rate is 4.25% and the reverse repo rate is 3.35% as of December 2021. Repo rate can be considered as an indicator of macroeconomy as it is linked to development of economy as well as various factors of economy. Next slide. In the past decade, we can see that in 2014, January, the repo rate was 8%, but it dropped down to 5.15% in October of 2019. Next slide. We all know that RBI monitors the repo rate and government has a part to play in RBI. So this year, in the last year, between 4th August and 6th August 2021, Monetary Policy Committee kept a meeting discussing the economy of our India. They decided to have a repo rate of 4%, but settle down on 4.25% repo rate for the upcoming quarter, uh, for sustainable growth of economy, but also ensuring that inflation is well within the target. MPC with government in their press conference stated that this step was for prioritizing growth, but also keeping the financial system healthy and stable.
This is MD Barasa. Unemployment rate. Unemployment rate can be defined as the unemployed people in an economy with respect to available labor force. In the December 21, the latest unemployment rate is recorded as a 7.91% of the India. During the COVID, the highest unemployment ever recorded, that is a 23.5% in the April 2020. So government actually takes various steps to reduce the unemployment rate. One of the scheme is the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, which is having a 1.70 lakh crore INR budget. And the objective is to help the poor people to fight against the COVID and to reduce the unemployment rate. Another scheme which is launched by the government is the Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, having a main objective to boost the economy, to increase the increase the employment rate and the restoration of loss of the employment due to the COVID. The budget of the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana is around 3,000 crore rupees. So impact and the forecasting, as we all know, if the unemployment rate is high in the economy, so there will be the people will have the less money. If people will have less money, so there will be the less consumer spending, ultimately the low GDP of the country, which shows not the lower economic growth of the country. And I can, as per the forecasting, in the year 2022, the unemployment rate will be 6.20%, and in the year 2023, the unemployment rate will be 6.50%.